Hi guys, this is Vitaly with AFT Dispatch and A2C Logistics, and in today's video, I'd like to speak with you about trucking company scams that are on the rise. But first, roll the intro. Welcome back. Before we get started, I'd like to ask you to please like the video, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss a single release of our videos, where every Friday we're talking about something that could benefit you in your trucking businesses and your trucking careers, as well as cover the loads we've successfully booked for our customers, consisting of leased owner operators and carriers operating out of their own MC authorities, running under our truck dispatch services. As always, guys, big thank you for all the likes you provided on our previous videos. Please do keep them coming, and let's talk about the trucking scams, the trucking company scams, all the freight fraud, identity theft, all the spoofing that's been going on. Now, this is nothing new. We've made videos in the past about it. We've talked about it in previous videos over the last several years, but it's on the rise, and wait till you see the numbers. Now, many of you guys are familiar with a company called Highway. Pretty much all the setup packets, the vast majority of setup packets are now going through that setup company, and they're able to see a lot of these, a lot of these scams that are really being perpetuated right now on the very carriers that are using their services to get set up with brokers and, get the loads that they need to basically make money in this tough market. Now, Highway's Freight Fraud Index is showing that in 2024, there was a 27% increase in these, freight fraud and these types of scams, these things that I'm mentioning here. Now, there's a few different ones that they're seeing. For example, identity theft is a big one. What they're actually doing is they're impersonating carriers. Real carriers are being impersonated, and freight's being taken. A lot of times it's being picked up. The freight goes somewhere else. The trailers get unloaded. Freight gets stolen. And this is really leading to a lot of major problems, big time losses throughout the industry, and which also leads to increases in insurance premiums that you and I have to cover our equipment and the freight that we carry within that equipment. Now, there's also double brokering. We've made videos about that in the past, where basically it leads to non-payment and ultimately losses because somebody needs to get paid, but they're not going to get paid twice. And oftentimes the scammers are the ones who get paid, and the guys who actually move the freight don't get paid. It's a tough thing, and again, leads to losses for the carriers generally. There's also what's called ownership fraud, where companies buy and also ultimately reactivate old MCs, and they use that information to work with brokers, again, pick up freight. Things happen, the MCs get dropped, the freight gets, it gets dissipated through all these different scammers, and, ultimately, again, leads to major losses and, again, a big hit in the insurance industry for the real companies, for the real carriers out there who are legitimate, who are real carriers. They just want to go out there and make an honest buck. Now, FMCSA contact manipulation is also a big deal, and you definitely want to watch out for that. Generally, you're going to see email and phone number contact manipulation, where they're going to actually get in using your MCS 150. They'll get your PIN numbers. They'll mess around, change some things on your on Safer on your MCS 150 using the biannual update. Now, you should be checking your Safer, make sure your phone number, email, and all the information is actually correct, because what they do oftentimes is make these changes, and ultimately that allows them to verify all sorts of information using RMIS, using all sorts of different services, verifications, and basically get these loads under, booked up under your MC, under your information, under your company, and again, scam you out of money, and then that creates a whole bunch of problems that you have to dig out of. Ultimately, the numbers are pretty bad. There's been over 350,000 fraud emails in just the first quarter of 2025 alone. Over 30,000 spoofed calls. I'm sure you're getting a lot of those. You probably have heard some of those where they're just like, wait a minute, where's this coming from? Is this a real agent? Is this really the broker that's calling in? Is that a real carrier? Is that a real load? There's been over 400 FMCSA contact changes, which that's a big deal. I know that it may not seem like a lot, but ultimately messing with the federal government, that's a federal charge, and these guys just don't care. There's been nearly 1,200 identity alerts using the highways freight fraud system, and phishing is also up. So just in February of this year, they're seeing an increase of 27%, and then an additional 26% increase in March. So the numbers are really getting up there. All of this freight fraud, all of this, again, identity theft, spoofing, all of these scams, trucking company scams, they're getting worse now that produce season is in season. And so that's the big one right now. So those of you guys hauling pulling reefers, certainly pay extra attention during produce season, coming out of those parts of the country, booking those types of loads, those types of reefer freight loads. And ultimately it comes down to where it's estimated that $35 billion in annual cargo losses are experienced. And again, these things are getting worse. These numbers are getting worse. And that all reflects on us, on carriers, and our insurance premiums. What they're talking about here, I'll leave you with this, something to chew on, something to ponder. A 1,500% increase since 2021. It's only been a few years, but 1,500% increase, that's absolutely bonkers. Guys, I would love to hear from you in the comment section below. Have you been hit by one of these, frauds, one of these, identity theft, one of these spoof calls? Have you gotten some of those? Has your information been changed with the FMCSA? Have you had any sort of fraudulent loads booked under your MC authority? Let us know in the comment section below. We'd love to hear from you guys. If you have some comments, some suggestions, something that might help the community, especially those guys who've been hit with this type of fraud, please let us know in the comment section below. If you haven't done so, please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and I'll switch over the camera. We'll look over the loads we booked for our customers, and I'll talk to you guys in just a moment. Welcome back. Let's take a look at some of these lows. This week we have vans, reefers, and a flatbed. Rates are quite decent to really efficient dispatching on the side of the guys. The drivers did an excellent job as well. We'll go ahead and get started with Mike pulling a reefer out of El Centro, California, going to Portland, Oregon with a 43.5 load of onions. Temperature was set to 50 to 55 degrees on a reefer. 1,144 loaded miles, booked to $3,700. That got him $323 a loaded mile. An excellent job. Then at Dayton, Oregon, took a load to looks like one pick, 3 dropper to Colorado. The drops were in Englewood, Colorado, Centennial, Colorado, and a final in Parker, Colorado. It's a light load, ultimately 30,000 pounds in total. Load of plants sitting at 65 degrees on a reefer. A longer run at 1,310 loaded miles, and got that booked at $3,000, which got him $229 a loaded mile on the way back. An excellent week, I would say, running Thursday to Thursday, 7 days on a road. $6,700 in gross. 2,454 loaded miles, only 86 deadhead miles. That got him 273 a loaded mile, and down to 264 with all miles included, with deadhead included. So I would say outstanding efficiency. He absolutely maximized every mile, made good money going in, made good money coming out. So an excellent job. Way to go, Mike. Moving on to Norman pulling a flatbed out of Newcastle, Kentucky, going to McCool Junction, Nebraska. It's a 48,000 pound load of mixed timber. No tarps are needed on this one. 793 loaded miles, booked at $2,400. Got him $303 a loaded mile. An excellent job there. Then Genoa in Nebraska coming out to Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Another 48,000 pound load of building materials this time. It's tarp was needed on this one. Norman was able to handle that. 878 loaded miles, booked out at $1,800. Got him $205 a loaded mile on the way back. Then out of Clarksville, Tennessee, took a 1 pick, 3 dropper, going to St. James, Louisiana, Carencro, Louisiana, and a final in Carlton, Texas. Carlton, Texas. It's a light load, all in all, 12,000 pounds of HVAC units. I would say this is a fantastic one because it's 1,111 loaded miles, the longest run for the week for him. $3,000 booked, got him $270 a loaded mile and a light load with tons of miles. So an excellent job there for Norman, running Friday to Friday, grossed $7,200 in 7 days, ran 2,782 loaded miles, only 135 miles of deadhead in total. That got him $259 a loaded mile, and with deadhead dropping down to $247. So I would say, he had a light load on his highest mile run, plus very high gross. Did an excellent job there. So way to go, Norman. Moving on to Michael, pulling a reefer out of Bolingbrook, Illinois. It's a 1-pick 3-dropper going to Iowa City, Iowa, Cedar Falls, Iowa, and a final in Sheraton, Iowa. So all going to Iowa. It's a 40,000-pound load of frozen food products, set at -10 on a reefer. 443 loaded miles booked at $1,800. Got him $406 a loaded mile. You heard that right, over $4 a loaded mile. On the way back, took a load out of Omaha, Nebraska. It's a 1-pick 4-dropper going to Rivera Beach, Florida, Pompano Beach, Florida, Miami, and then of course Lake Alfred, Florida, as a final drop. It's a 41.5 load of dairy products sitting at 34 degrees on a reefer. The trailer was pre-cooled, and it's a longer run at 1,886 loaded miles. We got that booked at $4,300. Got him $228 a loaded mile. So great money both in and out. Ran for 7 days, Tuesday to Tuesday. Grossed $6,100 of gross. Ran 2,329 loaded miles, 157 miles of deadhead. That got him an excellent rate of 262 a loaded mile, and that dropped him down to 245 with deadhead included. So I would say an excellent RPM and very high efficiency. So way to go, Michael. Way to go. Moving on to, let's take a look. Next, we got Jaylen pulling a drive-in out of Houston, Texas, going to Fayetteville, North Carolina. It's a load of beer, 44,000 pounds on a weight, 1,163 loaded miles, booked out at $2,600, got him $224 a loaded mile. Then Wagram, North Carolina, coming out to Kansas City, Missouri. It's a 29,000 pound load of general commodities, 1,069 loaded miles, booked at $2,000, got him $187 a loaded mile on that one. Then St. Joseph, Missouri, coming out to Memphis, Tennessee, with a 43,000 pound load of agricultural products. It's a 505 loaded mile run, $1,000 gross, got him just under $2 at $1.98 a loaded mile. And he finished off real strong at West Memphis, Tennessee, or actually in West Memphis, Arkansas, right there. Going to South Charleston, West Virginia. Nice run there. 42,000 pound load of non-hazardous chemicals, 601 loaded miles. But get this, booked at $1,800, which got him $3 on the dot. So an excellent job there, Jaylen. Running Friday to Friday, $7,400 gross, ran 3,338 loaded miles. Got that at 33.38, got that at $7,400, which is $222 a loaded mile. And since he only had 98 deadhead miles, which is very, very low, especially with that many miles, dropping down to 215 with deadhead included. So no doubt this is definitely a drive-in week, high gross, excellent average. Jaylen did a fantastic job on that one. Very, very well done. Moving on to Duaine, pulling a reefer, coming out of Paducah, Kentucky, going to Columbus, Wisconsin. It's a 40,000 pound load of chicken, 38 degrees on the reefer, 506 loaded miles at $1,100, got him $217 a loaded mile. Then Germantown, Wisconsin, going to Dover, Florida. It's a 43,000 pound load of food product, 1,292 loaded miles, booked at $26.60, got him $206 a loaded mile, an excellent job. Then right out of Dover, zero deadhead, coming out to Hernando, Mississippi. It's a 42.5 load of watermelons, 804 loaded miles, booked at $21.90, got him $272 a loaded mile, coming out to Mississippi. An excellent job, and get this, he ran Monday to Sunday, 6 days on the road, made just under $6,000 at $5,950 in gross, ran 2,602 loaded miles, very efficient, only 179 deadhead miles. That's 229 with deadhead, with loaded, and 214 with deadhead included. So I would say an excellent job, over $2 a mile on all his runs, whether with deadhead or not, and also nearly $1,000 a day gross, $5,950 for 6 days. It's almost $1,000 a day. So an excellent job there. And we'll finish off with Calvin. He's pulling a drive-in coming out of Florence, Vermont, going to Alita, Texas. It's a 43,000 pound load of chemical products of calcium carbonate. What it had. It was non-hazardous load. 1,964 loaded miles, so it's a long run. Booked that at $2,800, got him $143 a loaded mile there. And then On the way back, took a load out of Houston, Texas. It was a 1-pick 4-dropper going to Grand Rapids, Michigan, Rochester Hills, Michigan, Akron, Ohio, and then Coraopolis, Pennsylvania. It's an FAK load for freight of all kinds. That's 1,704 loaded miles, booked out at 36.75. Got him 216 a loaded mile on the way back on a ton of miles. Got his averages up Friday to Friday, 7 days on the road. Grossed $6,475 in gross, ran 3,668 loaded miles, 110 deadhead miles, so very, very efficient. Ended up getting a $177 as an average with a $171 when considering the deadhead. So I would say that this is the highest miles out of everyone that we ran here. So that would, Calvin is definitely very, very dependable and a very strong work ethic. So way to go, guys. Way to go for everyone. Welcome back, and thanks for sticking around to the end. Guys, with the arrival of AI and advancements in technology, unfortunately, these scammers, these spoofers, these freight fraudsters, if you will, are only going to get better and better at their craft, I suppose. And there's no way to eliminate the problem completely, but there's certainly ways to limit your exposure. And one of those ways is to work with dispatchers who actually have the experience, who have the connections with brokers, who, have heard enough phone calls, who can really pick up on these things, have seen the rate cons, have seen the common things that will kind of jump at you that may not jump at you because you're only dealing with a load here and a load there. We're dealing with tons and tons of loads for lots of carriers, for lots of owner operators, for lots of drivers. And so therefore, we really gain a lot more experience in a shorter period of time. And we've definitely seen it. I don't want to say seen it all and heard it all, but we've definitely seen quite a bit out there over the many years that we've been in business. So if you'd like to limit your exposure and like to make the kind of money that we've just talked about, certainly get in touch with us by calling or texting 801-448-6363 or visit our website at aftdispatch.com. And until next week, guys, stay healthy, be wealthy. Take care.